So you're looking to break your English teaching contract and you're wondering like, Courtney, what will happen if I do this? I'm teaching English in Vietnam. What's gonna happen? I'm gonna tell you. Stay tuned. Hey honey buns, welcome back to my channel. I'm the Courtney Williams. If you're new here, my channel is meant to document my journey as a makeup artist traveling around the world with the hopes to inspire you guys so that we can all get our shit together. Amen. Amen. So today we are talking about 5 things that could happen if you break your contract or your English teaching contract, you know, while working in Vietnam. So whether you quit or whether you get fired, these things may apply. First off, you guys know that I've been like teaching in Vietnam for almost a year, and I've moved, you know, like I was in Hanoi, now I'm in Ho Chi Minh City, and I've made some changes with a couple of different companies that I worked for since I've been here. So I just, you know, thought I'd share, thought I'd give you guys some insight. So let's jump on in. Number 1, you may just simply be asked to give a 30-day notice for, you know, your departure or breakage of your English teaching contract in Vietnam, or you could be asked to find your replacement. Now, either one is pretty simple because a school cannot hold you if you're ready to go, you know, or, you know, if you got to go for whatever reason, they can't hold you there. So it's not like you're not going to be able to get out of your contract. But when you are doing the 30-day notice, it can be a little tricky, and you do need to be careful because sometimes you may have a school that just genuinely wants to get a heads up so they can prepare for your departure, and sometimes you may have a school that's like trying to be sneaky and kind of like trying to get out of like paying you. So if you are going to break your contract and you are going to be giving a 30-day notice or whatever period of a notice that you want, just be smart about it and go with your gut and move accordingly so that you can still get whatever money that's meant to, you know, be sent your way before you leave. Okay, number 2, you are leaving money on the table. If you're breaking your English teaching contract before, you know, it's time for you to go, you're leaving money on the table. This is simply because teaching English often has like a lot of incentives because they actually want the teachers to stay. Like if they can find a teacher who can stay for 1-2 years, like that's more ideal for them to create a consistent teaching or learning environment in their school, and then they don't have to do that whole hassle of trying to find a new trying to find a new teacher, as well as the whole process of doing like the visa and the work permit over for a whole new teacher in the middle of the school system, you know, or the school calendar year. So it's more ideal. So if you are breaking your contract, all of those bonuses that they give at the end of the contract, you're going to lose all of those. Like you basically forfeit them when you break your contract. Number 3, sometimes you could get threats that you'll lose your visa, which I have not found to be true in my case or any of my friends' cases who have either quit or got fired in, you know, various parts of Vietnam. So granted, anybody's situation could be different, but as far as visa goes, it's in your passport, and once you get fired or you quit, they can't like take it out of your passport, you know what I mean? Like even if it's a working visa or a you know, tourist visa. But sometimes schools will threaten you because they just mad. It's like,
we done paid this money to help you get this work permit or this visa, and now you leaving us, and now you think you finna still be in the country, you know, chilling out.
It's simply just threats. Like the worst that they can do as far as your work permit, like it can be voided, and it is illegal for you to work under a new school under the old work permit under another school. Like once you get a new school in Vietnam, you should be getting a new work permit process. So that's really it. But as far as like getting kicked out of the country and them taking your visa because you don't want to work for the school anymore, simply just a threat. Simply just a threat. Number 4, you can get fees for ending your contract and breaking your contract. And this is simply because a lot of times at the beginning of your contract, because there's so many fees in Vietnam when you're signing up and you're trying to get your work permit and trying to get all your documents and things together, they will help out and they'll offer like reimbursements, and sometimes they'll pay for things up front. You have to pay them back or you may not. It just depends on the company and what you guys have set up beforehand. But when you're ending that contract, if they have things that they were supposed to reimburse or things that they paid for up front for you, like sometimes they'll try to take that out of your last check. So be aware, because you may not be getting as bad a check as you thought your last check, you know, would be. Last but not least, number 5, you could get additional taxes. And this is because Vietnam has an interesting tax system, and it really kind of depends on the amount of money that you're making, as well as the length of time that you're staying in the country as a foreigner, which kind of determines the percentage that you're going to be taken out of your pay. Now this is like if you at a legitimate school, they didn't set your work permit up, they didn't set your bank account up, you getting taxes taken out and things like that. Like for instance with me, when I left my first school in Vietnam, I was paying taxes, and at the time I had already received my work permit, but I was supposed to be in the country for a minimum, I want to say it was like 200 and some working days or something. I can't remember the exact number, but I did have to sign a form declaring that, you know, I would stay in the country for the minimum for that tax, you know, bracket. And they ended up taking additional tax out of my last check, and then later on I had to get it reimbursed after I showed that I had been in the country for, you know, an extended or whatever the period of time was. So that you have to be mindful of as well. So this is it for today, guys. These are the 5 things that you have to be mindful of if you are planning to break your English teaching contract in Vietnam, you know, because, you know, sometimes things happen, or sometimes you just at a school that you don't really like, you know, things happen and you need to be prepared either way. So as always, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you thumbs up, leave me a comment down below. You guys know the questions that you guys have been leaving have definitely been helping me create more videos for you guys, so keep them coming. As always, remember, people will stare and make them worth girl, I can't even talk. As always, remember, people will stare and make it worth their while, and I'll see you later. Bye.